Picture this. You spend 30 years carefully building your RSP. You retire, you're comfortable, and you keep telling yourself, I'll get to that eventually. You draw from your non-registered accounts first, then maybe a little from your tfsa. The RSP just sits there, growing. Then you turn 71, and the CRA tells you the choice is no longer yours. You have to start withdrawing on a schedule you didn't design at a tax rate you weren't prepared for. And if something happens to you before your spouse, the entire remaining balance hits your estate as income in a single year. That's not a worst case scenario. For most Canadian retirees, that's just Tuesday. Hi, I'm Alex Kellerman, certified financial planner with IG Wealth Management. In this video, I'm going to show you why so many Canadians end up in this situation, what the numbers actually look like when the mandatory withdrawals kick in, and most importantly, the strategy to get ahead of it before it's too late. If you'd like a personalized plan built around your specific accounts and timeline, click the link in the description to book a free call with me. Let's get into it. And here's where the trap usually starts. You retire, you have money in a few different places, an RRSP or RRIF, a tfsa, maybe a non-registered account, possibly a small pension, and you start drawing from what feels the most natural. Your non-registered accounts first because there's no tax shelter to protect there. Maybe some tfsa. And the RSP, well, you leave it alone. It's your biggest account, feels like the safety net, the last resort. And in the short term, that logic actually makes sense. You're deferring tax. The account keeps growing. It feels responsible. The problem is that most people never revisit that decision. They keep leaving the RSP untouched year after year until the government steps in and makes the decision for them. Let me show you exactly what that looks like in a practice, because the numbers are what make this feel real. So then age 71 shows up and suddenly the rules change. The government requires that your RSP be converted to a RRIF, and once that happens, the withdrawals are no longer optional. Starting the year after you open your RRIF, you must begin taking minimum withdrawals every single year, whether you need the money or not. And the percentage grows every year. So in your early 70s, it starts around 5%. By your 80s, it's closer to 7%. And by your 90s, you're being forced to withdraw more than 11% a year. Now, let's put real dollars on that. Say you have 700,000 RRIF at age 72. Your mandatory withdrawal that year is nearly 38,000, fully taxable as income. By 80, you'd be forced to take out close to 48,000. At 90, over 83,000. Stack that on top of CPP up to 1,508 per month in 2026, and OAS at 742 per month, and suddenly you're looking at a total income well above 95,323, which is where the OAS clawback begins in 2026. The government starts taking back benefits you contribute toward your entire working life simply because your RRIF withdrawals pushed you over the line. And here's the scenario that stops most people cold when I walk them through it. If one spouse passes away and the RRIF doesn't transfer to a surviving partner, the entire remaining balance is treated as income on the deceased's final return in 1 year. $500,000 RRIF, that can mean a tax bill of $200,000 or more, depending on your province. So most people have never actually seen what the RRIF withdrawals will look like 10 or 15 years from now. When we map that out for clients, that's usually the moment the tax problem becomes obvious. So now you understand the problem. The question is, what do you actually do about it? And the good news is there's a window, like a real meaningful window where you can take back control, but it requires acting before 71, not after. What I'm about to walk you through is sometimes called an RRSP meltdown strategy. And despite the dramatic name, it's really just a disciplined approach to drawing down your RRSPs deliberately on your terms at a tax rate you've chosen, rather than letting the CRA dictate the timing later. Here's the core idea. Most Canadians have a window between the time they retire and age 71, when CPP and OAS money may not yet be fully in play and their overall income is at its lowest point in decades. That window is the opportunity. Instead of leaving the RSP untouched, you make strategic withdrawals during those lower income years, filling up the lower income tax brackets intentionally, year by year. So the goal isn't to drain the account. The goal is to bring the balance down to level where the future mandatory RRIF withdrawals won't push you into a higher tax bracket or trigger the OAS clawback. So what do you do with these withdrawals is the next question. Well, if you have TFSA contribution room, and in 2026, that's $7,000 per year per person, plus any unused room you've carried forward, you move the after-tax proceeds into your TFSA. You've taken money from a fully taxable account and repositioned it into a tax-free one. That's a structural improvement that compounds over time. There are also a few ways to soften the tax impact, like using a spouse RRSP or splitting pension income later in retirement. Now, the right combination depends entirely on your situation, which is exactly why this needs to be mapped out in advance. So let me put some numbers to this, because the difference between acting and waiting is significant. So we have scenario A, wait until 71. You retire at 62 with 700,000 in your RSP. You leave it untouched, assuming modest growth. By 71, it's grown to around, let's say, 900,000. Your mandatory RRIF withdrawals begin at roughly 48,600 in year one, on top of whatever CPP and OAS you're receiving. Your annual income immediately jumps into a bracket you weren't planning for, and you're in the OAS clawback zone from day one. So scenario B, you start the meltdown at 62. Let's say you draw 35,000 per year from your RSP during the 9-year gap before 71. So you stay in a comfortable tax bracket each year. Now the after-tax proceeds go into your TFSA, and by 71, your RRIF balance is meaningfully lower, your mandatory withdrawals are smaller, and your TFSA has grown significantly, giving you tax-free income you can draw at any time without affecting your OAS. When I run this projection with clients using their actual accounts and timeline, the difference between waiting and acting early is often hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if you're sitting on a large RSP, here are the 3 things that matter most. First, know your RRIF trajectory. Pull up a projection of what your mandatory withdrawals will be and look like at 72, 75, 80. Stack that against your expected CPP and OAS and see whether that income is going to push you into a higher tax bracket or past the 95,323 OAS clawback threshold. Most people have never done this, and just seeing the numbers changes everything. Second, build a meltdown plan in the gap years. If you're between 55 and 71 right now, you likely still have time to act. The earlier you start, the more flexibility you have. Even a few years of strategic withdrawals can meaningfully shift your RRIF balance and your future tax picture. Third, route the proceeds strategically. TFSA first if you have room, then non-registered where capital gains are taxed at a 50% inclusion rate, meaning only half the gain is added to your income, depending on your situation and province. The sequence matters as much as the amounts. Most people I meet have done the hard part, like they've saved. What they haven't done is built the structure around those savings to make sure they keep as much of it as possible. That's a gap a good plan fills. The RSP was designed to help you build wealth for retirement, but without a plan for how and when to draw it down, it can quietly become one of the biggest tax risks in your retirement. Not because of anything you did wrong, but simply because of what you didn't plan for. The window to fix this is open. The question is whether you act while you have options or wait until the CRA sets the schedule for you. If you found this helpful, give it a like and share it with someone who's sitting on a large RSP and hasn't thought through what happens at 71. It might be the most valuable thing they watch this year. And if you'd like to see what this looks like using your RSP balance, your timeline, and your tax situation, you can book a retirement strategy call using the link in the description. I'll see you on the next one.